Good afternoon to you all. Well, it's probably afternoon when I'm uploading this. Right now, it's like 10:15 in the morning. So I just want to go ahead and apologize really quickly if I seem, you know what I mean? If I seem like not as energetic as usual. Some of y'all are gonna be like, what the freak is he talking about? Energetic as usual. He's talking in a monotone voice the whole stay out of the house. Don't worry about it. I'm just saying, I'm tired. So don't expect any crazy stuff. You know what I mean? But also expect crazy stuff because I get loopy when I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? I start tweaking when I'm tired. You might have noticed really quickly before we get into everything else. The camera's in a different position. Y'all can now see more of my room. You see all of it now. I got nothing to hide from y'all. Not even that Lego bag. I changed it up because of the light. But yeah, my window is right here. And since it's 10 in the morning, it is bright as freak outside compared to in my room. So the camera, this is like an older camera and a cheaper camera. This was $100, but it's old. And I don't know how to adjust the settings on it, so I don't know if it's just the settings or if it's the hardware, but the video quality can be trash in the wrong conditions. Guys, welcome to the BulletBob512 channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today, I wanted to do some reaction video stuff, which is not a usual thing for me. So today we're going to be watching 3 creepy, true Home Alone horror stories animated by these guys over here at MJV Animations. Go ahead and drop a like for them. Go check them out if you want to. I'll link their channel and this video down in the description. So hopefully you enjoy. If you do enjoy, go ahead and be sure to leave a like on this video and a like on their video because, you know, it's their video. And maybe subscribe to both of us. I don't know. Okay, here we go.
This was a little under 2 years ago. Back then, I lived in a small 2-story townhouse and worked remotely from home. The place had a small kitchen and living room on the first floor and 2 bedrooms on the second floor. One of those rooms I used as my office. During this time, the unit connected to mine that I shared a wall with was vacant. Nobody lived there or had moved in over 3 months. This night, I was working pretty late. It was rainy and cloudy outside, so I didn't have much else to do and decided to use the extra time to get ahead on work stuff.
Alright,
I
there we
sat
go.
in the
Get on that
office on my
grind. I see it.
laptop for a good few hours. The house was quiet as usual, with the soft sounds of the rain outside ticking against the roof.
Absolutely the best time to get anything done inside the house is when it's a slight drizzle bro. Have you ever like been trying to fall asleep and then the rain comes in just the right consistency, just the right volume to where it's like I don't even want to go to sleep right now because I'm so comfortable. You know what I mean? You're wrapped up in your blanket, you got the rain coming in, and it's just Ugh.
I think it was just about 8 p.m. when, between the quiet clicking of my keyboard, I heard a thump on the wall next to me. I looked over, sort of confused, and heard it again. This was on the shared wall with the vacant unit, so naturally, it was kind of odd. After a few seconds of thinking, I thought that it must have been the owner checking up on something, or maybe prepping the unit for a tour in the morning.
Maybe.
Regardless,
But it's better safe than sorry, though. I mean, come on. All right, stop pausing. Let's watch the video.
I continued working. Over the course of the next hour or so, I heard random sounds from the other units. Creaks, thumps, and various other similar sounds. Oddly, they were spread out. Like, I'd hear one creak, Then several minutes would pass before I'd hear anything else. But then, at just about 9:30, I heard a door suddenly creak open and then pushed closed.
From the other
This
one
was
or
louder than
yours?
all the other sounds that I'd been hearing throughout the night, which made me feel kind of uneasy. It'd been months since I'd heard the sound of the other unit's door open and close, so I didn't actually know how loud or quiet it usually was.
It wasn't the vacants. It was not the other unit's door. Dude, if a door opens and closes and it's really loud, it's not in the other house, dude.
After a minute, I decided to take a break and leave the office, heading downstairs just to make sure everything was good with the other unit. I looked out the window next to the front door, seeing if maybe the owner's car was out there, but I didn't see anything. Nothing parked on the driveway or on the road. Also, while down there, I didn't hear a single noise from the other unit. I figured whoever it was must have already left, and so hopefully all the strange noises were done for the night.
Oh, excuse me.
After checking out the door and double checking it was locked, I went right back upstairs to my office. I wasn't sure how much longer I really wanted to work for. At this point, I was feeling pretty tired and kind of just wanted to chill in bed for the rest of the night. But I
Yeah,
told myself
I
I'd
get
do
the
30
feeling.
more minutes.
Absolutely.
I
All night
closed the door
grind.
to my office.
But don't overwork yourself. If you overwork yourself, you'll be completely interested or demotivated to work at all anymore.
Sat down at my
So don't
desk
overwork.
and got as much done as
It's
I
good to be on
could.
your grind,
During that half
but
hour,
don't
I never
overwork.
noticed any more of those
You
sounds
still got
coming from the
tomorrow, bro.
vacant unit. Just the calm rain still trickling down outside.
Hmm.
Finally feeling good about the work I'd gotten done, and feeling my eyelids getting heavy, I shut off my laptop and headed out of the office, turning off the hallway lights and going into my bedroom. I started getting myself ready for bed when a sudden, eerie, and ominous sound echoed through the walls of the house.
Your house.
Someone was whistling a slow, soft tune. I stood there,
In your
silently
house.
listening for a few moments, I guess in shock of what I was hearing and how out of nowhere it came from. I quietly walked up to my
Grab
bedroom
your
door
gun, bro.
and cracked it open. As soon as I did, I could hear it much more clearly. It felt like it was too loud to be from the other unit, or even outside. Feeling really unsettled, I started walking down the hallway as the whistling persisted, filling the quiet halls of the house with the
No,
eerie
bro.
tune. I made my way down the steps and moved toward the back of the house, where I could clearly hear the
Oh
sound
my
coming
gosh.
from. I peered around the corner into the living
Wait,
room.
is that a...
In the dark, unlit room, a man was sitting in the chair, facing the other way toward the black TV screen, continuing to whistle as he stared into the pitch-black room and barely moved. I could only see the general outline of him, but his hand that was on the armrest looked like it had something in it, like a small handgun.
Oh. Oh,
I
okay.
knew he had to have known I was inside and probably heard me sneaking downstairs, yet he never looked back. He just stared forward, whistling. It was incredibly disturbing. I didn't know whether to say something or try to sneak away.
No, go
Why was
back
he even here?
upstairs.
How did he even get in? What did he want?
All right. Everyone at home, I want you to take notes really quickly. If you ever find yourself in this situation and you peek around the corner on your stairs and you see there's a dude in the pitch black of your living room holding a gun, whistling, there's this little thing, okay? I'm going to show you this little device I have that hopefully you all have as well. This is a cell phone. You go on your contacts app, you go keypad, you press 911 and hit that green call button. I got your back.
My heart was beating faster and faster before I made the sudden decision to run out of the house. I swung open the front door, still hearing the man continue whistling as I ran away. I only looked back once and didn't see him follow, but I did notice the door to the other unit was wide open. I got to the end of the road and called for help. When police got there, they could hear from outside that
That was super risky. Good thing nothing happened. A good thing the guy didn't get up and start blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, maybe he had a switch on it. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you're running out of the house past him, he definitely had an opportunity to go, "Ah," you know what I'm saying? And you're down. You're done after that.
same eerie tune being whistled from inside. They approached
ear
carefully,
is itching.
going down to the living room and finding the man in the exact same position. They said he turned his head slightly to look at them, giving a short, crooked smile, then dropping his gun and letting them arrest him.
What the freak?
He basically spoke nothing of what he was doing or had planned to do, or why he was there.
My gosh. Bro, it's in the daylight where I can see every single dust particle on my microphone, dude.
Some of the officers I talked to thought he might have been trying to get arrested for some reason. But strangely, there's no information on the guy. No
Nothing.
matching fingerprints or identification of any kind.
Is that
And
like a
without him being
gash in his head or
cooperative,
something?
they had no way to find out who he really was, or if he had any kind of mental illness that could be behind all of it.
I don't know.
I don't know what other ways that night could have gone down, but even
do.
thinking about other possibilities makes me uneasy.
But
Every once in a while, though, I still hear that same eerie tune being whistled in the middle of my dreams, making me wake up in a panic, thinking he could be back.
that sucks, man. Trauma is one of
If
the
you
worst
want to build
things.
an
Oh
app
my
and
gosh,
have
an
no
ad.
idea how to code or where to start, check out Base 40.
Yep. Trauma. YouTube ads.
I was 16. I lived in a small home with my parents at the time, sort of on the outskirts of the city. It was in a smaller, wooded neighborhood, about an hour outside of the main city area where both of my parents worked. This was
Okay.
on a regular weekday. It was pretty cloudy and rainy all day, and everyone was talking about this big storm that was supposedly rolling in later tonight. I didn't care too much, so long as I didn't have to walk home in it. Thankfully, it waited until school was out, and for me to get home before the rain started picking up.
All right.
Usually these storms are
Already avoiding bad
over-exaggerated,
situations.
but as I watched TV in the living room with the windows open, the clouds got darker and
With the windows open. So, okay, wait. Supposedly it's some kind of freak storm and the windows are open. What about all the rain going sideways? I'm just saying, you're like, that's like the windows are open. You got a whole like beam of water rushing through.
darker, and then the rain got a lot worse. But honestly, the most unsettling thing was the wind. Our small, old, and basically wooden house was creaking and swaying as the wind slammed against it, and
Your house
rain
was
crashed against
swaying?
the roof. Regardless, I was sure everything was good and kind of just listened to the storm as I watched TV and
Actually, now that I think about it, structurally weaker houses do tend to sway. Now that I'm still thinking about it, actually, have y'all ever seen footage of a skyscraper swaying back and forth because of the wind? That is crazy. And there's nothing we can do about that. We just have to make sure it's not gonna like go too much. You know what I mean?
waited for my parents to get home. At about 5:30 though, my phone alarm suddenly screamed at me about a flash flood warning.
Flash flood.
Not
Yep.
too much later, my
Mhm.
mom called.
We get those all
She
the time
said a
where I'm
bunch
at.
of the roads on the way home were apparently flooded over, and that it was too dangerous for them to drive in,
Get those all
so
the
they'd
time in
have to
North
wait
Carolina.
it out. I said I was good here, and the house seemed to be holding up, so it wasn't a big deal.
Okay.
Now knowing that my parents were stuck in the city, I got up and found something to eat in the kitchen.
Okay.
As I
Seems
waited for
good
my
enough.
meal to heat up in the microwave, I thought I heard something that sounded like a knock, like something knocking on wood. It was so muffled by all the rain and wind that it was hard to tell. And
Check
I
the
thought
door
if it
from a
was
distance.
anything, it was probably just something the wind was smacking against the house. So I ignored it. I grabbed my food and moved back over to the couch to watch TV. But before I could even start eating, I
You ignored a knock.
heard it again. This
Yeah,
time,
that's
it
someone
kind of
knocking
freaked
at
me
the door.
out because it sounded like it was at the front door, which was pretty much right next to me. And it was the exact same knocking pattern as the one I thought I'd heard when I was in the kitchen. Obviously, this made me
sorry.
think it had to be a person. But outside, in this storm, that really didn't make any sense.
Yes, it is a person.
I was too scared for a minute to
What
even
else could it
check
be?
out the door, so I kind of just sat frozen on the couch and waited for something to happen.
A
But
part of
when
me. Okay, wait. A part of me is like, yeah, you probably should stay where you are. Stay quiet. Don't let them know you're there. But then again, if it's the wrong person knocking, they could be knocking to check and see if anyone's home, and if no one's home, they could just break a window and go in there to steal stuff. You know what I mean?
nothing did, I finally got up and went over to check out the door. I
I'm not
walked up to the
sure
door
about
and
whether or
looked
not
out
she
the
should,
peephole.
but
It was mostly fogged over. All I could see were the blurry shapes of heavy rain pouring down.
I don't see
I looked
anyone.
out there for a while, making sure I didn't see any figures move or something. But with no signs of anything, I felt safe opening the door. At first, I was relieved.
Hold on.
Nobody was
Wait
there.
a second.
It was just the monstrous storm outside.
Wait a
But
second.
then I noticed something weird. In the mud coming up to the porch,
Look over there. Tell me what you see. I'm sorry.
I
for pausing.
couldn't actually make out the shoe print or anything, but it was clear by the repeating pattern through the mud that they were definitely footsteps. And given the weather, they
Footprints.
had to be recent to not have been washed away already. I felt a chill run through my body before I abruptly closed the door. I was really freaked out and really didn't know what to do. The rash
I'll tell you what you do. If you look, this is gonna sound really paranoid, but if you have even the slightest feeling of unsafety, of being unsafe or anything, I'll tell you what you do. You go around the house, you lock every single door and window, you secure every single room, and if you want, you can keep all the lights on. I mean, you're not paying the electric bill. Maybe your parents will get mad, but it's like your safety, your parents' feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they also feel that way if they really think about it.
side of me wanted to call my parents, or maybe even the police, because this was really strange with the massive storm
Okay, already getting a little bit smarter. I guess my IQ is like transcending through the laptop screen. I don't know what's going on right now, but
going on, and for me being alone. But the other side of me didn't want to worry anyone over something that was hopefully nothing. I mean, they weren't on the porch,
Do you have a
so
weapon?
they must have already left.
I'm not sure if I
At
can
least
show it on
that was
YouTube,
my
but I've got
thought
a knife in here.
process. I stayed more alert,
Somewhere.
but refrained
No.
from calling anyone yet.
It's
I told myself if I saw
There?
or heard anything
On my
else,
bed
though,
somewhere?
I'd call.
Mhm.
I went back to the couch and ate my dinner, keeping the TV
Okay.
volume a bit lower so I could listen to the storm.
Okay. here we go.
Honestly, I don't remember much else from that part of the night, because at some point I just
fell
laid
asleep?
down and passed out, waiting for my parents to get home. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't sure why I'd woken up, but
That's
the
when I
whole
saw
house
it.
was dark,
No, okay.
and the storm was just as loud as it was earlier.
Did the
I
power
knew
go
a
out?
while had passed, though, and I was curious how I'd been able to sleep so long without my parents coming home and waking me up. I picked up my phone
time is it?
and checked the time, but immediately saw I had multiple missed calls and unopened texts from my parents. They were just asking if I was okay and said the roads were still too bad to drive in.
Mom, I'm 16. Let me go ahead and tell you how I would handle that situation in both points of view. First off, if I'm the parent, I'm quitting my job. As soon I gotta do what I can to get my kid, bro. Just how it works. I ain't got nothing else to say about that. Um, if I'm the kid in this situation, I'm calling my mom and I'm going to be begging over the phone. I'm going to be like, "Mom, please, please come home. I do not feel safe. Please." You know what I mean? Especially you don't even have like a dog in the house. You are alone. You're completely alone. At least get on call with one of your friends, dude.
And they had to get a hotel in the city for the night. I rubbed my eyes and sat up, not really processing any of the texts I read and just trying to wake up still. And then I heard probably the most terrifying sound I could have heard in that moment. It was a single footstep on the wooden floor right above me. Not something hitting the house or wind making the house creak. It was unmistakably a footstep inside the house, specifically.
That's when you get that. So when you start hitting combos on them, bro. They're coming to my house. I was sleeping. You done disrupted my sleep. You're getting shanked. You picked the wrong house to rob, buddy. Sorry. I guess little Timmy's gonna have to pay for his own cancer treatment because you're getting shanked. Invest in a knife, lady. At least a knife. Okay? Maybe some self-defense classes. Maybe a
In my bedroom, which was the room directly above me. My heart started racing as I listened for another few seconds. I followed the sound of the footsteps, staring at the ceiling as they slowly moved through my room. Then they started going toward the door into the upstairs hallway. I knew I had to act fast. I turned my phone on silent and quietly ran into the small downstairs bathroom in the main hallway, keeping the lights off and carefully closing the door behind me and locking it.
Okay. This is when you call the cops. Yeah. It's been confirmed that there's someone in your house that you do not know or know about. This is when you call the cops. If there's any time this is like prime time.
I don't think they heard me. I opened my phone and turned the brightness on the lowest setting as I called 911. It was pitch black in there,
What did I freaking say, bro?
aside from the dim phone screen. Once I saw that the call timer had started, meaning an operator answered, I whispered my name, my address, and what was happening, then went back to staying quiet while keeping the call going. I was afraid to even put my phone on the quietest volume to let me hear the operator, especially as I began hearing the footsteps making their way down the stairs. The low thumps slowly moved through the hallway, rain and wind filling the sound between each step. They walked right past the bathroom door. They kept on until they got to
Bro, could you imagine being in this situation and like being fully defenseless and you just hear him like creeping past the room you're in and you're in this tiny little 5 foot by 5 foot bathroom and all you could do is just stand there because what if he opens the door and then he points a gun at you? You know what I mean? Like the fear would paralyze you. Absolutely. It paralyzed me, so don't feel bad about being paralyzed.
the kitchen, and then a few seconds passed as I waited for the next footstep, and then a few more seconds passed. Before I knew it, I was just waiting for any more sounds or for them to move, but I didn't hear anything.
Or camping?
Several long, agonizing minutes passed until a sudden bang at the front door sounded and police called out. I ran out of the bathroom and opened the door, but it was apparent by the lack of any other sounds inside the house that the intruder was gone. The sliding back door was cracked open, leaving the eerie evidence of their absence. Likely, the sound of them breaking inside was drowned out by the heavy storm, keeping me asleep. However, that could actually be the reason that I'm still here today. Whoever the intruder was seemed to only go through the hallway, upstairs, and into my bedroom, so me staying asleep on the couch and not making myself known was probably for the best. Disturbingly though, it seems clear that they were looking for me. What's really unnerving to think about, even today, years later, is that I never saw the person, so I literally know nothing about them, whether they're a man or woman,
Okay.
teenager or adult.
I need you to check your room, okay? This is going to sound crazy and conspiratorial and paranoid. But look, a random person just went in her house. We don't know who they were. And apparently they were looking for her. Check your room for cameras, please. All of your stuffed animals, all of everything. Check every single little crevice of your room for cameras, please. The best case scenario, you wasted your time being overly cautious. Worst case scenario, you don't look at all, and now some freaking creep has one-way access to your room.
Someone I knew, or someone I didn't know. Or worse, someone that I didn't know, but that knew me. Me and my parents have been pretty on edge for the last few years, hoping whoever it was doesn't attempt to come back to continue whatever they had planned for that night. I live alone in a pretty quiet, cozy neighborhood in a suburban town outside of a small city. I'd been there for several years and really had no issues with it. I knew most of my neighbors and felt like our town was just really quiet and calm. Nothing
really
much
homey.
ever happened, and I
Probably.
was able to just live my life in peace.
Familial.
This was in the
Suburban.
middle of
It did say
spring.
suburban.
I'd gotten
sure
out
of
of
that.
work after a long 12-hour shift, driving home in the dark around 9 p.m. The roads were empty, and the neighborhood was still and dark, as most people had been hunkered down inside from the pouring rain for the past several days now. I pulled into my home and went inside, warming up some leftovers in the oven and resting on the couch as I settled in for the night. Only 10-ish minutes after I'd gotten home, though, there was a rather loud knock at the front door. I was really put off by it, unsure who it could be, or
Please tell
what
me
it
you
could
have a
be
beef
for. But I got up and saw
the
a
last
man
person
standing on
did.
my porch.
Alright, there we go.
He had a black rain jacket on and looked drenched. I opened the door. "Can I help you with something?" The
Why is he
man
cross-eyed?
looked at me for a moment.
he's-
His eyes were droopy, like he was very tired, and his face was stiff and motionless. He looked a bit older than me, maybe in his early 30s, with a dark beard and longish brown hair, soaked by the rain. Finally, he answered, speaking slowly and without much emotion, explaining that his dog jumped his fence and he wanted to know if I'd seen it. I said no, that I haven't seen anything. He nodded in an understanding way, but his eyes wandered past me and into my house as he slowly turned away and walked off the porch.
Okay.
I closed the door. I thought the guy was kinda weird, but maybe he was just really tired and frustrated, especially with all this happening at night and in rainy weather. I hoped he'd find his dog soon though, and aside from that, I went back to the couch and forgot about it. I want to say I was sitting there, watching TV for maybe 15 minutes, before there was a sudden knock at the front door again. Immediately, I was sure it was the same guy,
Okay, hold
but
up.
I had no idea why he'd come back. I got up, very confused and sort of concerned as well. Sure enough, when I looked out, I saw the same guy standing behind the door. I opened it, and this time I wasn't quite as friendly, just
And this time he pulled a gun on me. No.
straight up asking him what he wanted.
What's up?
He had that same cold look as before. The man pointed toward the side of my house and said he saw his dog run into my backyard and asked if he could go look around back there. and said he saw his
Oh,
dog
oops.
run into my backyard and asked if he could go look around back there.
You know, I'll just go look. You just go wait on the curb. I'll go see real quick and report back to you. How about that? Rather than you having, you know, a frolic in my backyard.
The way he said it was kind of strange, though. I'm not sure how to explain it, but yeah, something was clearly not right. To get him off my back, and in case he was telling the truth, I said sure, he could go back there and look around. He said thank you, but at the same time as I was starting to close the door, he took a step forward, almost like he thought I was going to let him inside to lead him through the house to my back door. I just continued closing the door, though. I'm not sure why he would have thought that, when he could easily just walk around the house and to my backyard.
Just go ahead and twist
I
that
looked
little
out
lock.
to make sure he left, and he did, going around to the side of my house. After all of that, though, I wasn't too comfortable with the guy just wandering around, so I went to the kitchen where I could watch out the back door. I didn't, stare at him through the door or anything, but I cleaned up some stuff on the counters, while occasionally looking back at what he was up to.
Alright.
Every time I looked, it seemed like he was just walking around the perimeter of the yard. Until one time I looked back, and his face was right behind the glass.
I was just about to say. Bro. Ugh. Get off of my door. I was just about to say before he started being a weirdo. I was gonna say dude, you need to watch out. That guy is totally scoping out your house from your backyard.
Looking in at me. It literally made me jump. I yelled through the glass, asking what he wanted.
Yeah, this is the part where I'm getting up to the glass. I'm like, hello. Huh. Do you want some? I just made myself a knuckle sandwich. Do you want some? That joke was corny. But you get my point, though.
He called out, asking if his dog was inside my house.
Your dog is not inside of my house. What are you, stupid? Sir, I know what you're up to. Please, stop trying to rob me.
What the hell was wrong with this guy? I sternly
Literally.
said no,
Oh my gosh.
clearly showing that I was getting impatient with him. But the man kept asking, wanting me to let him in the house to look around for his dog.
Dude,
He'd bang on the door every time I wouldn't answer.
your dog's
I
not
could
in
see
my
it in
house.
his face that he was getting unnervingly angry at the fact that I wouldn't let him in. It was getting kind of horrifying. As he kept hitting the door and yelling at me, I called the police.
Yeah.
Only
okay,
then,
there we
once
go.
he saw me take my phone out, did he finally stop and leave.
Freaking A, bro.
Which only made it more
Finally.
suspicious as to what he was truly up to. Police came and took a report from me of what happened and what he looked like and all that sort of stuff. But that's where it was left at. There wasn't much they could do right then and there.
True.
However, unfortunately, a week later, there was an incident really similar to mine. It's unclear if he forced his way in or was just allowed inside by the victims, but the story was almost exactly the same as what happened to me. A man came knocking on their door, looking for his dog, only for it to take an awful turn.
Oh.
It makes me even more disturbed by that night the man came by my place, doing the same thing. Had I listened to him, or been any more willing to help, I could have suffered a similar fate to the others.
Yeah. Finally, a freaking smart protagonist, bro. Alright, bro. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to go check out MJV Animations on YouTube. Go like their video. The video is 3 creepy true Home Alone horror stories animated if you want to go check it out for yourself. Link is in the description for both the channel and the video. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. also of any other videos you would want me to react to, or any games you would want me to play on the channel, whether it be one-offs or showcases or even a series. Let me know, and thank you so much for watching. I was BulletBob, and I hope you have a great day.